Hello and welcome. My name is Alan, and yeah, just got through watching Last of Us episode. I think it was 7 at this point. It covers most of the DLC. The episode starts out though. Apparently, Ellie has managed to drag Joe to a house, or put him on the horse and ride him into a house. And so she's in the basement with him. Got his wound, his hands on it because he's still shaking. He's awake, but everything's still going on. And he looks at her. He goes, "Go," because he's still having trouble breathing. His breathing's labored, and his voice is so shaky where he's trying to talk. He's like, "Go," and she's like, "No, F you, Joe, no." And he grabs her by the shoulders. He's like, "Go north, find Tommy." And uh, she kind of understands, okay. So she heads back up. The horse is in the house too. It's like in one of the rooms just standing there. But she goes to the door, stares at it for a moment, and then reaches for the handle. And then we get the flashback. We cut to a scene of Ellie as a student in the Fedra school. She's in a school being run by Fedra. You know, then as she's running, she's got headphones on with a Walkman, so she isn't like giving it a whole lot, but she's just running like she's going through the motions. This girl comes up behind her and knocks her headphones off. She's like, "Pick up the pace. I'm not going to do this a second time because of you." Ellie's like, "I don't want to fight." And the girl goes, "You don't fight. Your friend fought, and she's not here anymore." Uh, Ellie reaches back and code cocks her. She's sent to the office where the principal's at, and he's trying to explain. He's like, "Look," because Ellie even suggests, "Just put me in the hole." And it's like, and the guy's like, "I've already put you in the hole 3 times. It does nothing. So I'm going to try a different tact." She says, "What?" And he says, "I'm going to tell you the truth." He tells her, "You can either just go through the motions and have someone tell you what to do, when to do, everything. Or you can become an officer. You can get your head straight. And then it's you who gets to tell people what to do. And you can go tell Bethany how many times to stick it." Because they were talking about Bethany, the girl who had been picking on her, but Ellie punched back at, ends up in the infirmary with 15 stitches. So yeah, she's like really popped her. I'm sure she jumped her probably and continued beating on her for a bit, but yeah. Anyway, we go through the basics with that. She kind of agrees to go back to being trying to follow orders. So she's in her bedroom, gets told turn the lights out by I guess one of the officers. She's going through knocking on each door. Turn the light out. Turn the light out. Turn the light. So then we see the clock. It's about 1:53. Window opens and a girl crawls through. Turns out it's supposed to be her friend and bunkmate, who's been missing for the last 3 weeks, Riley. And Riley explains, look, I know I've been gone, but I joined the Fireflies. So she's explaining she left Fedra so she could join the Fireflies. She's even got a tattoo on her showing she is a Firefly. But she tells Ellie, she says, look, I'm sorry, but I want you to come with me. We're going to have one of the best nights of our lives here. She eventually convinces Ellie to go, and they both sneak out of the window. They go through another building up to the top floor, and they find a dead body there, but he's got an alcohol, and so they take the alcohol with them before the body falls through the floor. But yeah, they continue going across rooftop and more rooftops until they reach the surprise. She's brought, Riley has brought Ellie to an abandoned mall. Apparently, Fedra doesn't know that when they turned on the power for another block because they had more people staying in the area, and so they needed power as well, it powers up the mall. And yeah, um, they start off going through the mall. They chat and everything, and Riley and Ellie have managed to turn the lights on. They ride a roller coaster for a bit, and then it stops, and she's like, oh, "Come on!" So they go to the next. Well, before they even get to the merry-go-round, Ellie cuts a fit over going up and down the escalator. It's like it's moving stairs. But then they go on the merry-go-round. Merry-go-round ends up quitting on them. They're chatting, they're having a good time, drinking more of the alcohol they brought with them. So next place, uh, what was the next? Oh, next thing they did, they went to one of the photo booths to take a picture of themselves together. They get it to take the pictures because she had a $5 bill ready. It takes the pictures, and when it prints it out, it's just very faint print because it's like the color ink is gone. It's just more or less black and white, but very faint. But Ellie keeps it, takes it with her. Then they go to the arcade, one of the arcades in the mall there, and they play Mortal Kombat 2, which harkens back to earlier in the series when she's like, "Oh, I saw this one time this girl she eats her opponent and she spits out the bones. Well, this is where she plays Mortal Kombat 2 with Riley. Yeah, and they do show the whole Melina scene where Riley's playing as Melina, and um, but yeah, they play at the arcade for a bit. Then they go to a taco stand to go in the back, and they've been opening it up to each other, getting back to the way that you usually expect best friends to act. Kidding around, goofing off, and everything. They're in the back kitchen area of the taco stand, and turns out that's where Riley's been staying. That's how she knows about the mall. And Ellie discovers weapons there, homemade bombs and stuff. She's like, "You didn't discover this place. You were posted here." Um, the things get heated. They get in an argument. It's like, because Ellie still has in her head the principal general, whatever his lieutenant or whatever his name was, telling her, she can turn things around for herself if she acts straight. And so she's thinking in her head, well, maybe Fedra is the way to go. But Riley's like, look, I brought you here because I wanted to say goodbye. And, they're back out in the main area of the mall. And Ellie's like, well, and Riley's like, she's like, I'm sorry, Ellie, but they're going to ship me out from Boston. Tonight's my last night. Ellie stomps off angrily, knocks over her trash can as she goes, and she's almost out where they came in, and she kind of gets frustrated with herself. So she goes back in looking for Riley, and she hears screams. She goes to the place running because she thinks Riley's in trouble. Turns out it's a Halloween shop she's in, and it's like a little thing popping out of the ground. Ah! Ah! But Riley's in there, and that's when things break down. They have a heart to heart talk about everything, and yeah. And you can see they're kind of relieved that they had a chance to really talk it out. And so, yeah. Um, then um, Riley's like, or yeah, Riley tells Elise is here, gives her a werewolf mask, and she's like, "What am I supposed to do?" She says, "Put it on." And she gets up on top of like this counter where all the merchandise is. Ellie gets up there with her, and so Riley takes this clown mask she's got, and they've got music playing, and so they're dancing on top of the counter and everything. And they do that for a while, a few moments, and finally they stop. Ellie pulls off her mask. She's beaming. She's smiling real big, and uh, Riley takes off her mask, and she's like, "What? What is it?" Ellie just says, "Thank you so much for this," and she leans forward and gives her a kiss. And goes, I'm sorry about that. And Riley's like, "It's okay." So, there's more than likely some feelings beyond what is just best friend. Uh, but yeah, earlier while they were roaming about the mall, we get a scene. We go back into the back and we see one of the infected. He's sitting there. And finally, you hear him start making noise. It's about that, they get down from the counter, they're talking, and it's about that time it busts in and starts attacking them. It knocks over Ellie. It's going after Riley. Ellie gets back up, knocks it down, and Riley looks like she's knocked out. Riley had a pistol and had tried to fire some shots at it to no avail. Ellie stabs it in the abdomen, in the side of the abdomen, several times with the knife she's got. But, she's trying to stop it. And Riley gets back up and gives Ellie a moment where she can finally take the knife and drive it through the head of the infected, which takes it out. Uh, but they both realize they've been bitten. Riley shows the bite around the thumb on the hand, and Ellie shows the bite in the arm. And so apparently Ellie goes on a bit of a rampage, just breaking things, destroying things. She's just screaming, ah, ah, while Riley's sitting there. Ellie sits down with her, and they talk about what their options are, what they can do. And then we kind of get another scene that brings us back to the present with Joe and Ellie. Turns out Ellie didn't go, and she starts tearing up the house looking for something she can use, breaking stuff, looking for that something. And she stumbles across some thread and a needle. She goes down to Joe. She takes the thread and needle and starts sewing it up. And he's sitting there, and every time she goes through, he's like, because it's already a wound, and she's, driving through to get it sewn up, but she's going through it, trying to get it sewn up for him. And that ends the episode. We get to see the next week's episode. But yeah. Uh, and in the next week's episode, it's going to be interesting because you have Ellie basically doing all the survival for them. She goes out hunting. She's the defense. But apparently, a group stumbles upon her, and they offer her and Joe room But one of the other guys is like, why? She'll just be another mouth to feed. If I remember right in the game, they're hunters, but they've got no problem eating human as well. If I remember the game right. I've never played the game, but I've watched numerous people play it. So, but yeah, that's my review of The Last of Us episode 7. Um, I want to appreciate y'all for watching. I'll see you all in the next episode. Until then, later.